Name Garrard has become synonymous across the racing codes throughout Australasia. In this episode of One on One, we catch up with Daren and Angus Garrard. Learn more about some of life's challenges, particularly with Daren, where he went close to losing his life, and find out what's made Angus Garrard one of the rising stars in the driving ranks of Queensland harness racing. Well, thanks for getting dressed up, mate.
Mate, I've got to work, not like you.
Sitting here, where are we? Burpengary.
Burpengary.
Family operation on about 12 or 13 acres?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, and we've got another 12 acres next door. And
so this is your mum and dad's place?
Yeah, and I live next door.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long has this setup with the horses been here?
37 years.
Right. Right.
A long time.
It has been. You're what number generation horseman?
There was Dad's uncle, Dad, myself, and there was way back, it goes back to harness racing at Kedron Park in 1908, I think it was, so yeah.
Fair decent.
Fourth or fifth, something like that, yeah.
And now Angus.
Now Angus, yeah.
Yeah. Have you, your earliest memories of the horses and that, because your dad obviously has been heavily involved his entire life, so what do you remember about that?
Yeah, well, Dad, because he was at Mullumbimby and he was out helping his cousin and his uncle at Mullumbimby as a young fella, and then he moved to Sydney, his family, and then he was working in Sydney, and then he moved to Brisbane. And then probably 3 years later, he started in the horses. I think I was about 5 or 6. He got back into it and started going again. And yeah, it's been full on ever since.
What sort of horseman was your father, Chris?
He was a very good horseman. Just had to work with a lot of average horses, I guess. You know, they were just, horses he leased and that sort of thing, and raced mainly at the old Ipswich and Rockley and around the shows and that, but was very successful.
Yeah,
for
how
what
many
he
winners, without putting a finer point on, how many winners would he have trained, do you think? At a guess.
I don't know, Greg, I don't.
Yeah.
It was just...
He's never been a numbers man, I'm picking.
No, never. And he always only had 1 or 2 because of his work commitments. Because he worked for different companies, like he was selling, he was in the plastics business with the banana covers, and then he worked for Bayer, and he did a lot of repping jobs and all that sort of thing, until he finally decided to go out on his own with Garrards and selling pesticides to pest control operators.
So what sort of year was that? What sort of period in his life did he start the pesticide side?
39 years ago, maybe 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it obviously started out as a small operation, but
yeah,
it's a pretty big go now.
Yeah, it started out small. We worked at a little office out of Petrie, and a little bomb shelter, we called it, and just grew from there. We went to Launton. We had a bit bigger warehouse, and then where we are now at Brendale, we've got 2 warehouses there. And then we've got Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, North Queensland, Darwin, Perth, New Zealand, and we sell a lot into Southeast Asia and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah, it grew massively.
What sort of staffing numbers, Daren?
We've probably got 60 maybe more, but that's full-time staff. So it's...
What's your involvement in that side of the business? And we'll get to the horses, which is what we're here to talk about very shortly. But yeah, what?
I started with Dad. I was actually working full-time in harness racing at the time. I was working for Stewie Dixon, and Dad needed someone. So I started with Dad 38 years ago.
Yep.
And we're in the pesticides. And then I unfortunately had a brain tumour, And I got through that, and then Dad started Horse and Hound.
Yep.
He said, "This will be good for you, son."
And it has been.
And it has been, yeah.
Yeah. So how long did the Horse and Hound business start? Or what year did it start?
I'm not a good keeper of years, and that's
What are we, in the 90s?
Yeah, well and truly, yeah,
Yeah.
before the 90. So probably, yeah, 25 years or more.
Yeah. Well, it's become so synonymous, the brand, it's been huge across Australasia, because you moved into New Zealand, 15 or 16 years
Yeah,
ago? Something
yeah.
like that. You're at Addington, you're at Cambridge. But your alignment with the racing codes has been part of your passion, hasn't it?
Yeah, racing's a passion, and it was always Dad's passion, harness racing especially. But, you know, we've got gallopers, and we've had greyhounds, and we've got harness horses, and we just love the sport, love the people, and it's just a great industry to be in, harness racing.
When did you first take your licence out?
When I was 16,
Yep.
I started driving and that sort of thing. Dad was training, and and it just moved from there. And I started putting on a lot of weight, and we couldn't work out why, and had a lot of troubles. And then was diagnosed with the tumour, and haven't driven since.
Right. So, what age were you when you did get diagnosed?
27.
Yeah. That's a few years ago now, mate.
It is now. It's gone quick. It's gone very quick.
And what about your health now? Do you have
Good as gold.
good as?
Lucky.
Well, you're an athlete, as we can see.
Yeah, well, most of this is left over from as a side effect of that tumour. Yeah. But we're upright and breathing and doing very well.
Well, you are, because I looked up your stats, and you mentioned before you're not really a stats man, but you've trained over 500 winners, Daren. It's a bloody good record, and a record that you and Gail, and we'll get to her in a moment, should be very proud of.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Because you don't train a big team.
No, never. Well, for years I only had probably 4 horses because we were working with the pesticides.
Yep.
You know, it was get up early, get the horses done and get to work by 7:30 or 7 o'clock. So it was, 2 or 3 horses. So our strike rate's pretty good.
When did Gail come into your life?
30 years ago?
You were thinking there for a moment, weren't you?
Yeah, I had to work it
One, you
out.
better get this right, and
Yeah.
2, it was probably the best day of your life.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been married for the best part of that.
The best
Let's
part
just
of
say
that. Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
get you in trouble.
Yep. No, the best part of that.
Yeah. And she's an enormous part of the whole operation.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, she's in the background doing things when you need something done.
I knew I had no hope of getting her on this show,
No, she doesn't like that.
but she doesn't mind working, and
No, she's in the office all the time, and still doing stuff, still working for Garrard's and still doing Stallions Australasia and all that sort of thing. So yeah, she's right into it.
you're across all facets of the sport, aren't you? And I want
Yep.
to talk to you about breeding, and I know you had a count up recently of 27 or 28 mares, some in New Zealand, most of them here in Australia.
Yep,
By anyone's standards, that's almost a business on its own.
it is. It's actually a drug. We started with Neville R years and years and years ago, and we were just doing their semen distribution in Australia and doing the bookings and all
So
that.
that was with
sort of-
Peter O'Rourke?
Peter O'Rourke,
Yep.
yep. Great man.
Yep.
And we started with that, and we did that, and we were doing that for quite a few years. And Gail got the bug. She got the breeding bug, and when the new Q-bred system was announced, and that she wanted to have a go, and we thought we'd have a go at the moment.
Because the Q-bred and the bonus scheme that you were part of, that came up with your first and second and third wins, and
Yeah.
it's terrific money, isn't it? And it
Oh,
encourages you to breed horses.
Yeah.
What's the first win? It was like 14.
14,000,
Yeah.
7.5 for the second, and
Yeah.
now it's 3,000
Yeah.
for the third. Plus the drivers, like any race that's only carries like at Marburg and those sort of races they put on, or Redcliffe on a Sunday, they're $4,000 races.
Yeah.
But if you've got a Q-bred, you just get an extra $1,000 bonus on top of that.
Right. Does that have to be used to breed? Is it breeding bonus or cash bonus?
No, cash bonuses, that is. There's no breeding bonuses.
So the breeding in Queensland went from
200 to 400?
Doubled.
Double.
Yeah.
And still going up.
Still going up. I talked about Gail coming into your life, having Angus. It's pretty special, but it's even more special that he's become that next generation, and isn't he doing it? Some sort of job, mate.
Amazing. The thing about Angus was, after I had the tumour, there was every chance we weren't going to have kids.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's a miracle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you and Gail are enjoying every moment you can with him. I remember seeing him at the pony trots, and his record at the Inter-Dominion trots at Sydney and those sort of things was quite outstanding. So was he always keen on the horses?
Yeah, from 18 months, I think we got him a pony. We bought him a pony off Chris Frisbee in Bathurst. He said he's the quietest pony. And we bought the pony and brought it up here, and we harnessed it up a couple of times. And one day we had this phone call, yelled out to us, "Mum, Dad," and we went out there, and here he is. He'd harnessed the pony himself and was long-reining it.
Yeah. Unreal, eh? Pretty cool.
Yep, and ever since then, he's just been hooked on it. Yep. Like, he's over there shoeing horse, fixing horse's foot now. Yeah. You know, he just loves it.
Yeah. Well, he's honing in on about 800 winners only in his, fourth or so season?
Really, fourth full season, yeah.
So.
And his other season, I think he was only a month and a half driving. The only thing we did was help him out. He could start driving when he was 15, taking start license, and I just made sure that he'd had at least 100 trial drives before he started driving. Yeah.
Is he a natural, Daren? Is that where you describe him as, or is it hard work or a bit of both?
Hard work and a natural. Yeah. You know, he just took to it, and you know, he was ready to drive mini trotters in races when he was 4.
But you weren't allowed to.
No, he was driving the big horses when he was 6.5, maybe 7. Just loved it.
Hey, wandering in behind you there is Classy Washington, and going back to December, I know how proud you were to qualify 2 horses for Inter-Dominion finals. He was one, and Sir Fahrenheit was the other. That was a special carnival, wasn't it?
Amazing. Amazing. When you go through life and you never think you'll get to an Inter-Dominion, and then you do. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of pressure, but amazing. Yeah. And so amazing for the owners of the horses too. You know, it was just an incredible feeling. Yeah. It really was. It was really good.
You didn't win the Inter-Dominion, but you almost felt like you'd won it by getting 2 to the final. Yep. Yeah, I can remember the look on your face when, after the 3rd round of heats, job was done. It was, well, it wasn't done because you wanted to perform in the Fahrenheit did, and this horse here didn't have much.
No, he got stuck in the fence, and it was a bog, a flash, and he just, you know, I was 3 days picking dirt out of his eyes after the race. He just didn't want to be there, and you can understand that. But did an amazing job.
And has done an amazing job. Yeah.
And, you know, Angus's performance driving those horses in that carnival for a 20-year-old kid was just amazing. Yeah,
and to do it in your own backyard and all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Pretty special.
Yep, very.
So how many horses are you training here now, Daren? And what's the future? And I know the future's obviously Angus and what he decides to do, but is he likely to carry on the training eventually, or do you think freelance driving will be his go?
Bit of both, I think. You know, I don't know what his future is. He probably doesn't really know what his future is. He just loves driving. He loves horses. He's good at what he does. And we just go from there, and I'll keep doing these training horses for as long as I can. You know, the horses were partly the reason I, after the brain tumour, like I couldn't walk probably 12, 14 months. I had to learn to walk and that again. And
Yep.
one of the guys at the office in Gale organised, they made me a feed trolley, and that taught me to walk again.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. And amazing what the power of the horse can do too, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And they all knew I had something wrong with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they were just...
Looking around here now, it's such a relaxed atmosphere, and I watch you around the horses, and they're very relaxed. You got some decent horses at the moment. Regazzo Ditilli's done a good job.
He's done a great job. Classy Washington, Nick's pick, R11 Art, a horse we own with our best mate Chris Essex, Cinnabon. He won the for Daren and Kylie.
Yeah.
He won the Redcliffe race a couple of weeks ago, 125,000. But yeah, we got some nice horses here. Vicar of Dibley, quite
Vicar
a few
of
of them.
Dibley, another great mate of yours, Jay Gamerson.
Jake Gamerson, yeah, great guy.
You've been with Jamie, and of course Natalie worked for you in New Zealand in the Garrard shop for many, many years. But yeah, you and Jamie go a long way back.
Yep, and Natalie. Well, I didn't meet Jamie until Natalie, and we've been great mates ever since. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Top bloke, do anything for you.
He's your sort of man.
He is.
Likes to drink, loves the horses.
Yep, great guy, great guy.
But you've got friends all across Australasia.
Yep.
You've got some close mates, haven't you?
Yep, I have.
And most of them are in harness racing.
Correct.
They got the same passion.
And some good mates in the thoroughbred industry and that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
It's just harness racing, it's like, once you're in harness racing, you're in a family,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Everyone's there, it's all good, it's a great sport. We just need more young people getting into it if they got into it.
What do we need to do, mate? How do we get them into it? You've racked your brains over many years, haven't you?
Yeah, there's good ideas, but you know, to start with, the mini trots is or what you call kids carts in New Zealand. That's the greatest way. You've just got to manage it right, and you've got to bring kids through. You know, you start with kids driving mini ponies, but when they get to 16, they might want to do that, but you might be able to put them in to be a judge or a steward or a trainer, or there's so many aspects of our sport that we're not utilising to keep young people going through. You know, we're always trying to look outside, but that's the way. And we need more training centres. We need a training centre in Queensland badly.
Well, people can't afford the land.
They can't afford it. They can't afford to buy $1 million for a property and then spend, you know, $800 million setting it up. So, you know, we've got to do that. So we've got to start with the young people through mini trots, give them the marketing to take them back to schools, all that sort of thing, and make them realise that there's more to harness racing than just training and driving. You know, it's administration, it's all sorts of things.
It's been a good life, been a good lifestyle.
Yep.
Even though you've had your challenges, as we've heard.
Yep.
It sounds like to me that without it, well, we certainly wouldn't be sitting here having a chat.
No.
Well, I wish you well in the future, mate.
Thanks, mate. All the best, and we'll hope for the best, and hope Garrard's Horse and Hound keeps going. You know, it was going to start with one shop, because initially they told me I'd only ever work half a day a week, half a day a day. And yeah, we've just busted it.
Blowing it out of the water,
Yep.
I'd say.
Yep. You know, horses, the stores, everything, you know, and
It ain't stopping now, though, is it?
no.
You're
no,
not finished.
No way, nowhere near it. And I've got my two brothers there in the business and
Yep.
their families, and
Vaughan the Horn,
Vaughan the Horn, he's still there, great guy,
Vaughan Quirk.
one of my best mates.
He's been with you for a long time.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
right in the pesticides, but of course we
Yep.
knew him in New Zealand as
Yeah, he was
Vaughan
here,
Quirk, yep.
19 or 20, might have been 21, something like that. He was with us. And
he'll be happy you got a mention on the show, mate.
yeah, he's one of my best mates.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Him and his wife Louise, you know, they're just solid earth people. If you got anything to talk about, you talk to Vaughan about it.
Yeah.
He's just humorous, great guy out. You take him out, you always get a laugh. It's really good. We've got some great staff, absolutely wonderful staff.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, that's what keeps you going.
Angus, with the name Garrard, you were always going to be involved in some capacity, weren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it was really an option or not. It was always going to be my life somehow.
What was your earliest memories of the horses? Your dad suggests that pretty much from the get-go, you were into them.
Yeah, pretty much. I sort of had a few ponies really early on and then pushed on to the mini trotters at, I think, 6.5. So, yeah, it was early stages.
Your record in the mini trots was outstanding, and particularly when you went to Sydney.
Yeah, I had a little bit of luck. We had a couple of quick ones, and thanks to Mum and Dad, they sort of travelled me around the countryside a fair bit and gave me an opportunity to meet new people and go and race at different places.
Driving. You got into it at an early age. I think, what your first drive when you were 16, 17?
Yeah, I think it was 2 days after my 16th birthday I had my first drive.
Yeah. First winner?
I reckon it was a few weeks after I started, but it was a mare called Kylie Bromack. It was pretty special. It was obviously for Dad, and we owned her, and it was a really good sort of feeling.
13th drive. I looked that up, so it didn't take long.
No, it probably felt longer than it was, to be honest, but it was very exciting.
We've got a photo here. You were a pretty blimmin' young Angus then, but to do it for your mum and dad, who've been your greatest supporters, what was really special?
Yeah, for sure. It was really exciting. They've backed me from very early stages and give me sort of the opportunity to be successful. I can't thank them enough for that.
100 winners. When you started out, that must have seemed like an enormous number, but I think you became the first to get there as a junior in your first full year, basically.
Yeah, that's right. It was really exciting. It was sort of something I hadn't really considered until it was happening, and obviously couldn't have done it without the support of a lot of great owners and trainers and family and other people that helped me out along the way.
Angus, who did you look up to? I mean, who were your idols when you were an early teenager? What were the drivers around here, particularly in Queensland, that you thought, wow, I'd like to be like that?
Yeah, it's probably a long list, to be honest, but, always watched Luke McCarthy, Mark Purden in New Zealand, and when he came over here, and people like Kylie Rasmus and Shane Graham, all those sort of guys, but you watch everyone, you watch the big races and look forward to this time of year we're in now, sort of every year.
Your own style? Have you just pinched a little bit from each person?
Yeah, I feel like it probably changes up every now and then, but you watch everyone and try and pick up sort of little things they do that might get a bit more out of a horse and try and put it into practice.
Mate, were you into sport at school? I know you played rugby. Was it cricket in the summer? What were you like, and did harness racing eventually just take over and you just didn't have time to do those things?
Yeah, for sure. I love my sport. I played cricket, rugby, soccer every year at school, and running and things like that. And I played sort of cricket and rugby all the way through, right up till I graduated. And probably after that's when harness racing really took over. I just didn't have time, as you say, and it's probably something I miss a little bit, to be honest.
It is all-encompassing, the sport, though, and particularly when you're pretty much racing every day here in Queensland.
Yeah, that's right. It's flat out, there's sort of no rest, but, we love it, so we keep doing it.
You're honing in on 800 wins, and obviously the next goal is probably only a couple of years away, if not less, to get to 1,000 wins. That'll be pretty special.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably something I got in the back of my mind without sort of thinking about it too hard, but I'm sort of just excited to be where I am now and press on.
Angus, is 200 wins a realistic target now that you're getting to 170, 180 in a season, and we're only in June this year and you've already got to 100, so yeah, is it realistic?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd certainly like to pick up 200 this year, but I've had a good start and probably had a couple of slow weeks, but if I can pick up a little bit over the next few months, I think we can get there. December
was a special time. Your mum and dad qualifying 2 horses for the Inter-Dominion finals, and you were driving Manila Playboy and those sort of horses. You're getting a better quality of horse to drive, which must give you confidence.
Yeah, for sure. December was awesome. You know, we sort of didn't expect what happened to happen, but you know, it panned out good, and you know, we were able to have some fun.
I speak about Manila Playboy, one of your biggest wins, and the patron's purse, your grandfather's race. Talk me through your emotions around that and how special that was.
Yeah, that was really exciting. You know, the horse had been racing really good for a long time, and we thought he deserved a big race, and it was obviously very special for it to be that race in particular, and you know, it was a really special night.
A couple of other decent wins, Cat King Cole, got you an APG final, Mullen Ruby's done a good job, and one of those horses that qualified for the end of the Dominion final, Sir Fahrenheit's been very good for you.
Yeah, him in particular, he's been an awesome horse to me, you know. Massive thanks to Scotty Whitten and Jody at Tumby Park. You know, they entrusted me early when he came over. I was sort of driving him all the time, and then the opportunity came up to take over the training, and you know, he's been an awesome horse. You know, I think he's made 300,000 or just near, and won me a stack of races. So yeah, he's been super.
See you doing some work farrier-wise. Where did you learn that?
I've probably just picked up a lot watching along the way. You know, I've been lucky enough to get pointers from some pretty good people, but you know, just watching the farrier here every week and picked it up myself, and sort of decided at one stage I'd muck around a little bit and have a go at shoeing one, and it's just grown from there, sort of thing.
Your dad went through a pretty tough time in his life, and a time where he and your mum and everyone around them didn't know whether he was going to survive, and he said it himself that you were somewhat of a miracle. So what you're able to do with your dad and the time you're able to spend with him with these horses is it's something you can't take for granted, can you?
No, that's right, and it's probably something you don't sort of think about too much while you're doing it, but you know, when you reflect on things like the end of Dominion, it's certainly a very special time in your life. He's
trained over 500 winners, so he must have some idea of what he's doing.
Yeah, I think he's got lucky, but you know, he does do a really good job. You know, he doesn't leave any stone unturned, and you know, they get their opportunity.
Have you thought about long term yourself, getting into the training side of things, or is the focus driving at the moment and that's all you're thinking about?
Yes and no. You know, it's always hard to sort of discount the training when you've got some nice horses around here. So, you know, I love getting out here and working the good ones, and you know, sort of seeing that process. So, you know, I wouldn't discount sort of training in the future.
What's your goals, Angus? Is the first one to get to 1,000 wins, and you'll progress it from there? Will you go to the States at some stage? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think first and foremost I'd like to get to 1,000, and you know, if I can do that before Pete McMullen's record, that'd be great. But you know, we'll push on for now, and you know, after that I'd probably like to travel a little bit. You know, at least go and see sort of the racing in North America and Canada and things like that. But for now, I'll just press on here. You know, picked up a few feature races this year, which I'm pretty happy with. So if we can pick up a few more of them over the next sort of 12 to 18 months, that'd be really good.
What is the one horse that you're looking forward to driving in that period?
It's probably a little hard to pick out. You know, we've got a few handy ones around us at the moment, and a few others that I've been driving. You know, Cinnamon just won sort of the 2-year-old final at Redcliffe, and he looks pretty exciting, so hopefully he can push on to some bigger races next year as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, regardless, so Ditilli's done a good job?
Yeah, he's been awesome. You know, he's really stepped up in particular this year, and hopefully he can sort of push on to open class ranks in the future.
What about this horse Warrior Chief of your father's great mate, Jamie Gamerson? Do you reckon we can get him over here at some stage?
Yeah, I've been trying to push him to get him on a plane for a little while. I don't know how much success we're having, but I might have to make a trip over there and pick up the job myself.
Well, he and your father have had good success with a number of horses, and where does the New Zealand Cup and New Zealand racing sit for the Garrard family? They've been associated with it such a long time. Is it something you'd like to do, drive some winners over there?
Yeah, for sure. It's sort of a place we've been a lot, and you know.
I can remember, mate, you being there as about a 2 or 3-year-old.
Yeah, that's it. We've got size stakes photos on the wall, and I'm not tall enough to sort of see over the fence, but you know, I'd definitely like to get over there at some stage and have a drive at least. And you know, if it comes those bigger races and we've got sort of the right horses at the right time, it'd certainly be special.
You living the dream, mate?
Yeah, for sure.